Can you hear me? Sound test, 1, 2, 3. Oh, amazing. Hi, everyone. I did not know that we could hand in confession cards, so I'm just going to do one right now. My name is Leah. I shut down the Swiss Microsoft website for 2 hours. It was my biggest accomplishment in my career. So it's very nice to be here. Thank you very much for coming. My name is Leah. We're going to talk today about growth and product management in 2025. And so here's how the next 25 minutes are going to look like, but I speak very fast, so it's going to be like 30 minutes of material. First of all, we're going to clarify whether you still have fun in product management right now. And the next thing that we're going to talk about is growth. Some of you might know the word. Some of it is AI. Maybe not everybody has heard about that one. And then we're going to talk about the future of product management. Then we're going to talk about a guy called Gary. Some of you that know my stuff probably knows, yeah, someone knows the stuff over there. Know what's going to come up, some memes, some more memes, and some more memes. So let's see how this goes. Okay, so first of all, don't you love it? Are we having fun when stuff like this is coming up and totally not sensationalized? When Brian Chesky is going to go on stage and is talking about, you know, how product managers are over, isn't that confidence inspiring? And then we have Jensen Huang from the video saying like, "Oh, I have 60 direct reports. This is fine. I don't do one-on-one meetings." And other people are saying like, "Oh, product management is dead." You know how that feels to me? And I've been a product manager for 15 years. This is how that feels to me. This is exactly how that feels to me, because your boss, or the boss of your boss, just has heard something from a bro on a podcast, and now you have to kind of deal with the consequence of it. I know, so that's how it feels. That's why I went into a board, by the way, because as a board member, I don't have a boss, right? So like, that's not happening. So now I'm that person that does that. Okay, so let's just really start off from the basics. So I'm always using these kind of slides for years now, which is how products are successful and how we are selling them into the markets. And we have two things, right? So in order to have a successful product, this is what PMs oftentimes forget. They always build good products, but they're not building successful products. We need to have product market fit. So on one hand, we need to have a product that really customers love, that kicks ass. And we need a distribution to sell it in some kind of way, right? So a scalable growth motion. So in other words, what this is, the first part about a successful product is how we build it, and the second part is how we sell it. So far, so good. Not a mind-blowing concept for most of you, but we have two drivers right now that are changing the story quite dramatically on both sides. One of them is AI, and the other one is PLG, so product-led growth, and it's going to affect all of us in this room, even me. Maybe I'm going to listen to some podcasts, and then, you know the rest of the deal. Okay, so let's talk first about the growth side of it. So what am I talking about when I'm talking about growth? I'm talking about the way that you're selling into the market, that your company that employs you is selling into the market has an optimal way of selling. So we have a pyramid slide here that tells you that I'm a super important person because they all have pyramid slides. It's a very well-known fact. At the very top, we have the enterprise customers, so very few with a lot of money, then the mid-market, then the lower B2B segment, and then the consumer peasants that nobody cares about. Everybody is laughing about this. I don't know why, but like, you know, if you're in B2B, that's how we look about it, or that's how we think about it. So at the very top, we have salespeople that are really experts to selling to enterprise people, and then on the bottom end, we have the product-led growth motion that is really, really good at that particular. And so we have a lot of customers with very little money in terms of the LTV, like the lifetime value that we have. And at the top, there's this guy called Gary. And Gary is a sales guy. Gary is the guy that is, you know, impersonating this kind of sales motion that we're using to sell the product. And Gary has promises, as you can see on his finger. And what does Gary do with these promises? He promises to the customers stuff that does not exist yet. And why does Gary do this? Because you can see now in his hand, he has a compensation plan that tells him to do that. And in the back, we have the product and support people who are extremely frustrated because they have to deal with it, this crap, right? So a lot of you, some people are, by the way, crying right now. Okay. So how does this look like? And I'm going to speed up a little bit because I want to make a point with this entire presentation. So the first thing is, so what we try to do with sales-like growth is we're demanding something from our customers. Give us your time, trust me, bro, right? And then we have Gary going out, and this is a very sales-driven motion. So we're asking something from our customers already, because that's how salespeople are. Then they get a demo. So we're going to slap them with a demo. Then they hopefully give us some money or a POC, trial, whatever you want to call it. But a lot of this stuff is promise-driven. Even if you do have a POC, like a proof of concept, you really do not know what you're getting. But that's the principle. And it makes sense. At this point, you get the product, you pay, you get the product. Simple, right? Like at McDonald's. I pay, you give me the product. So that is not necessarily a bad thing. It's not necessarily a bad thing, as much as you might not like sales in your company. And they're also driving me crazy. But this is just how we did business. And it makes the most sense that a sales model works best in complex up markets, right? So like where enterprise customers are with little competition. Because you don't have a choice, right? I have to kind of take the solution or I'm just not having anything. So what we talk about here is really now the other side, which is product-led growth, something that I pretend to know a lot about. So the bottom part of this important making slide. So what we do in product-led growth is we're trying to build intent for time first. What that means is that we as a company have some motion somewhere in the company that is building intent from people with content, community, value, whatever that means. So the people say that, these people might be worth looking into, right? And this is product-driven or insights-driven, whatever. So there's no salesperson involved in this entire mix. And then we ask for something. For instance, hey, here, please try out the freemium that we have, the free version of our product, we have a trial, that kind of thing. And then people are kind of doing this. So they're going into this, but they're not giving us money yet, right? So like first we're asking for time. Then we try to build with our freemiums, with our trials, with all this kind of nice self-serve jazz, we're trying to build intent for money. And that we might be doing also with the product. Sometimes we have to do it with sales because not every product is easy. Like the pricing pages that you also have are probably also a source of depression. But you get what I mean, right? So we're trying to have the product over sales. And then we ask for something again. And then what we do is we're trying to escalate in this principle the customer and company value as we go forward. Keep those phones up. There's another one coming in this one. So we're trying to build the value for the customers, but we're also trying to build the value for the company. Now you can take a picture. So product-led growth is about getting money, but making the most money from the expansion afterwards and the usage. So we're trying to close our customers low because some of them, for instance, at GodPhoto, we know that 15% of our customers every year are starting to expand afterwards. So we want to get them before they become big, grab enterprise value before another Gary with his dirty little fingers from another company is starting to grab him. We don't want that. So that's the principle. So it could look like something like this. You have a freemium, which is usage limited, so I'll give you my car, but you cannot drive it forever. Well, you can drive it forever, but every day only like 5 kilometers. It's not enough to run a business, but it's enough to kind of get to know the car, right? Or then if you want to, you can go into a trial where I give you access for everything for maybe 7 days. And then you become a customer, so everything is unlimited, right? So like this is how that feels. And these plans are waypoints to move users forward. They're not destinations. A lot of companies doing this wrong because they just put the stuff that doesn't cost them anything into the freemium. And then they're giving off a wrong impression. So we always try to imply what's coming next. I'm going to skip over some of the stuff now. So this is all in my product-led growth guide, which is completely free. I'm trying to build your intent for time. And so you can check this out later because I don't want to just like talk about this. But if you're starting to do this quite often, and I have to deal with a lot of Series A, Series B startups, scale-ups, and so forth, then you start to notice some numbers, right? So things become predictable. So I know that from my plans in the freemium, about 1 to 7% in SMB segments are converting into customers. If they're onboarding in a trial, about 35%. Paid plans, like we have 1 to 5 years where the customers are standing with us. But in any case, every plan builds buying for the next stage. So far, so good, nothing crazy. Okay, cool. So what does that mean? A product-led growth distribution is more likely succeeding in highly competitive, commoditized spaces where customers have choice in how they are trying out the product. And great PLG companies tend to have growth teams. And I don't know how many of you do have growth teams or are working in companies like this, but this is how they look like. So let's say we take the standard model of a company. So we have marketing promising something. So marketing promises something. Product is trying to build a product that is going to deliver on this promise as close as possible. The closer it is, the bigger our conversion rate. And then we have sales or self-serve motion like product-led growth that does monetization and expansion. So we're trying to hey, here's how much we want for this. Keep the phones up, there you go. Next one is coming, here, growth. So growth teams are responsible for connecting users as efficient as possible with product value through usage data. So they work on user sign-up flows, they work on activation, they work on onboarding. So the conversion rates, it's always conversion rates. So they're not doing marketing, but they optimize the traffic from marketing. They're not doing product, but they're optimizing how people are onboarding into the product. They're not sales, but they determine the pricing of these plans and so forth and so forth. So they're pissing everyone off in the company. You know, it's a patchwork solution, but it's great. So a growth team would be responsible for this page. What goes in each plan? What is in the pro side? What not? And they need to consider everybody, right? So like the sales stakeholders, marketing, product, and so forth. And that's important. So I want you to keep that in mind for later on. They might be also taking care of sign-up flows, you know, like should we ask for an email? Should we ask for a confirmation? And so forth and so forth. Okay. So growth teams, in a way, are the owners of the first impression your product will make. And if you have ever dated in your life, then you know how important that is. It's very important. So how does a typical product-led growth team or a growth team look like? I'm not going to walk through this slide. Again, there's another guide, right? Like, so here's some intent for time for this one. But just take this away. They are pretty similarly structured like a typical product team. You have a product manager, a growth product manager, you have engineers. We also try to manage the engineers inside of the team, so we do not have any outside influence. We try to keep the team sizes under 7. They're highly specific to the side that they do, work on. So for instance, if we have someone that is working on monetization, then I do expect the growth PM to really kick ass around monetization. They need to know about A/B experimentation, blah, blah, blah. So you can read more about this afterwards. So now we have a problem. Why do we have a problem? Because everything that I just told you about growth, like this lower function and the upper function, has to deal with Gary. It's the Gary problem. We love Gary, a little bit, unless we have to work with him. So the Gary problem is when sales-led growth is starting to meet product-led growth. So what is the Gary problem? The Gary problem is we have Gary from sales. That's not the problem yet, right? So Gary from sales is a guy that represents one customer until they sign. Gary is very predictable in how much he costs and how much money he brings us. Gary is really good with words and he knows how to talk about dollars. Gary cares a lot about his compensation. And now think about what product managers are. Product managers do not represent one customer. They represent all customers. They might even represent your users that did not convert yet. PMs are not predictable, I'm sorry. We suck at estimating stuff. It's our job, but we suck at it. It's just what it is. And we definitely do not know how to talk about money. I'm sorry, we just don't know yet. We never learned it. They gave us stuff like Scrum to learn and SAFe and, yeah, someone crying over there. Okay. So what is happening when Gary in an organization is taking his promises and is connecting it with his ability to talk about dollars really well? What's happening? So this is an actual picture of me sitting in my throne as a CPO. If you're ever a CPO, I recommend that you're sitting on a throne. And Gary is coming from the side with a very elaborate business case. You want to know how the business case looks like? Yeah? This is the kind of shit that I'm getting on Slack. Hey, Leah, can I have this feature over there? Like, this is amazing, right? So, and you know what the sad part about this is? You're losing against this business case. Because Gary doesn't give a shit. But what Gary has is he's going to tell you that there's a really big customer that wants it. $250 billion a year, Leah, we need it. Okay. And then I'm like, oh, really? Okay. And then the PM that doesn't want to build it says like, yeah, but it's not best practice. And then I have to justify towards the CEO why 250 billion is worse than not best practice. Okay. So this leads to an over-focus on acquisition methods, right? We're starting to gear the company towards like, hey, what it means to acquire stuff and a deteriorating value of your product. You know how your product is going to end up looking like? This is the reason. This is the reason why so many products are looking like crap. It's not sales' fault, by the way. It's not Gary's fault. Gary just does what he's being told to. It's because we over-focus on closing stuff instead of like fixing things. And then you're ending up with something like this, and then like, hey, can we fix the interface in like 3 months? But we also don't want to anger all the customers that we already have. You all know how this feels. It sucks. It really sucks. This is why, this is not Salesforce, by the way, because I always make jokes about Salesforce, but Salesforce looks to me the same. Mark Benioff, if you're hearing this, he doesn't want to come on my podcast because I always make jokes about Salesforce. But anyways, so let me introduce myself. So I gave you the freemium. Now we're going to move forward. So my name is Leah Tharin. I use pyramid graphs in board meetings, as you know, so therefore I work in B2B. I'm a board member at GodPhoto, which is an EQT investment. They have a lot of money, PE fund. I implement product-led growth and growth as an interim in scale-ups, and I write a lot about organizational scaling. I'm one of these weird people that actually enjoys this, and I'm layering in PLG and product-led sales in B2B scale-ups. I founded 4 startups, I crashed 2 of them into the wall, and I teach about various leadership and product-led growth topics. Also in business MBAs on universities in the US, which makes me very proud, and I tell my mom every day, and she doesn't care. And I teach organizations to deal with this scary problem. So, with this, we have to now leave growth, and we need to talk a little bit about everybody's favorite topic, which is AI. For AI, we have 2 topics that we need to be careful about: product value and go-to-market. So, let's talk first about product value. What is the product value side of AI? And I'm talking about the real stuff, right? Not the clickbaity LinkedIn bro stuff. So, AI allows us on one side in the market to build what was not possible before entirely. That is innovation, right? We can actually solve something that has not been possible before. I would wager that, I don't know whether anyone of you is working with Intercom or other support products that are now really powered by AI. They are genuinely better. They are genuinely better than what we used to have before, these shitty chatbots that just never wanted to let you through to customer support. Did you mean? No, I didn't. I just want to talk to an actual person. But AI can also solve existing problems with a comparable quality now for less money, and that is optimization. Even if you do hate AI, I hope that you're using ChatGPT, Perplexity, whatever, like to make your day a little bit easier. Like bringing together customer feedback, understanding the shitty stuff that is right now in a PowerPoint presentation that someone else told you to read, like AI note takers, whatever it is. So I think, hopefully, that all of you are doing this. So something is changing in the market. And it affects the supply versus demand situation. And this, I believe, is very important to understand for all of us. Less capital is necessary to build the same amount of product that it used to be. So if product had units, 1 unit of product is going to cost less than it used to because of AI. It's happening already. In some industries, it's quite dramatic. But we're going to see more and more and more of this, of course. So what does that mean? Some people make you believe this is the future. Oh my God, I'm going to have a $1 billion company as one person. And for some reason, I'm not working. I'm just like sitting there and seeing the AI do stuff. You know what that is? That's a shit take. This is not how reality works at all. You know this, I know this, I'm tired of it, I'm talking about it. So let's be real about this. What does that mean? Building things cheaper means always more competition. Always been the case. If you produce more peppers or corn or whatever as a farmer, there will be more people who are doing it because now we can flood the market with it. That means we can also undercut prices and so forth. Things that are easy to do for anyone in this room are not defendable as a business model, which means there's more people who will copy you. The moment you start to be successful with something, you know what's going to happen. Someone else is copying it. It's just how it is. It's how the capitalistic system works. So companies that you are working in have to differentiate more and more and more over their distribution. So this will sound very weird on a product conference. It is less about the product and more about how easy it is to try, how it feels like, what the first impression is. Yeah? Does that make sense to everyone? Okay, some people aggressively nodding, very good. So because now we're also talking about this other complication, which is the go-to-market side. In the past, so way back in the days when I was young, it's a long time ago, it was about, I have to find a solution I can afford for the problems that I'm having. That's what the customer said. And we tried to solve this through search engines. Maybe you had a salesperson, coming to you, telling you something, hey, genuinely, like, hey, if you want to organize your customers, you need to have Salesforce. The interface is crap, but you can manage your customers. But the risk was always with the customer. Today, it looks like I have to find the right solution. There's just too much stuff, right? Like, hey, Leah, I want to learn how to play the piano. Oh, go on YouTube. There's so much material. Yeah, I know, but like, who is the good teacher, right? So I want to find the right solution. So how did we try to solve this? We tried to solve this by having self-serve, product-like growth, try before you buy. The risk was with the company, because you can cancel at any time, right? Makes sense. Of course, makes sense. So we came up with stuff like this. This is the HubSpot flywheel, where we think about customer acquisition. We have strangers that do not know anything about us. We're trying to turn them into prospects that understand what we are trying to do, which we then convert into customers, which we then turn into fans, so promoters, which then are attracting new strangers. And we tried this is all PLG, and it's not going to change, but what we tried to do this with was mainly through search engine optimization, so how customers find us, social media advertising, and these amazing blogs where marketing is crapping out 200 articles a day, and then hopefully customers are starting to come in. AI. AI is going to make all of this extremely hard, and you know this. Do you remember this slide from before? These were the slides and how we're thinking about growth and product-like growth. I started to think 3 years ago on the moment where people are coming in on the freemium side. Now I have to think about AI-influenced market channels. A marketing topic. Ugh. Marketing. It's very uncomfortable. SEO and paid Google ads are shrinking. Channels like content, LinkedIn influencers are shrinking faster than people also think. Everybody thinks like, oh my God, it's going to be amazing. I think it's going to be difficult. The problem is AI is so good in faking everything that you do not know anymore whether this picture is real or not, whether the advice that you're getting is real or not. There is incentive in the market to deceive you, not to scam you, just to deceive you. We have the best product. Look at all this stuff. It looks kind of real. But it doesn't matter whether you're right or not about it. If you cannot interpret the signals anymore, then this is a problem. The new AI reality will make it easier to find some product and harder to find the right product with our traditional methods. You know how this is? You talk about diapers with a friend, and then suddenly my Instagram feed is full of diapers. We're pushing it on people, right? And this will go worse and worse and worse. So LLMs and word of mouth are starting to gain in importance because of this, because that's always happening. We have good things, and then marketing is ruining them. So the real estate of marketing, for marketing to buy, is getting more expensive and complicated. This is why this stuff starts to feel like crap. Advertisements, advertisements, advertisements. Even if you have a YouTube Pro subscription, there's more advertisements in there. So what does the future look like? What do companies need? We're moving into a future where the part of growth, understanding how we optimize our onboarding, what the first impression is going to go like crazy. Right now, I have a ratio in my advising companies of 1 to 5 teams. So 1 team is growth, 4 teams is product. It's going to change. We're going to have more of this. So what we need is more specialized PMs. Companies expect specialization, predictability from product managers, and more support towards go-to-market and sales. That is the reality. So we need growth PMs that know about quantitative, monetization experience, PLG experts, people like me that pretend that they know something about this. TPMs, technical PMs that evaluate and deploy AI solutions that can separate the fever dreams from your CEO with reality. Innovation PMs who know qualitative data when they see it without having anything else to back up. But all of these, and this is the final point that I'm trying to make, all of these have to understand business casing from customer problem all the way over to how much money is landing in the company's bucket. And now you might ask, but Leah, why do I have to learn about this? If it's not you, who else? You're the only person in the company that has access to all the functions. You can talk to sales, you can talk to marketing, you can talk to the customers. How else, who else is capable of having all the data to create these business cases? So if there's anything that I suggest to you, because I'm running out of time, and you can read the slide afterwards, but there are methods and ways to figure out what customers do in a quantifiable way, and then figuring out what it does for the revenue of the company, whether you're surfacing it to Salesforce, to a salesperson or not. That is something that you have to learn. It's not safe, it's not the newest Gen AI model, and so forth. I really want to highlight this to you because I care about this profession a lot, and I think it's for the better that this is happening. So modern product-led growth and sales is about customer success front and center by, I'm trying to click, it's not coming, by showing value and not talking about it. And for that, you have to understand the entire business more than ever. And that's everything that I have for you today. I hope you had a great time. Thank you very much for having me.